Good evening, everyone. I'm Reverend Rob Banashak, aka the Spiritual Spinister. Welcome to tonight's Spin into Stillness. It is our last Wednesday of our amazing August. Time keeps going faster and faster. I hope that you are enjoying that time, all of it, every single moment of it. I hope that we are all able to be still and to tap into all of the goodness that we're experiencing all of the time, whether we see it, whether we experience it or not. We are, and all it requires is just some time that we carve out, that we make for ourselves, that we can learn to be still, learn to connect to that deep voice, learn to experience and see and drink in the goodness of our life. It's back to school time, so we are gearing up. It's another shift of our seasons, and it's a good time to begin that meditative practice. It's a great time to just reflect on where we've come from and where we are going. Whether you have kids that are going back to school or whether you yourself are remembering what it was like to have that shift in the seasons, the end of summer and the beginning of a period of activity with the fall. So welcome to that time and space this year. Now, we go into the stillness and we use our own intentions to get there. So we set an intention, and every one of your intentions can be unique and different for every single meditator. But we draw one card, one oracle card from the Star Codes Astro deck that helps to guide that intention, that gives us a little more information about how we might go about bringing forth the intention that we set for tonight. So let's start by setting that intention. You can write it down, which it's good to kind of affirm it by writing it in some way. Again, on a little slip of paper, I've just cut up some construction paper into little rectangles, little tickets. And so you can intend whatever you would like for your meditation. You can, maybe you want to be calmer this week. Maybe you want to be able to focus more clearly on the things that are most important to you. Maybe you want to be more rested. But whatever it is, you can just write it down. And if we were in person, I would gather those little slips of paper and I would throw them into a burning bowl of flames that would symbolically allow us to detach from that intention. So, yes, we said it, yes, we articulate it, but then we release it and allow the universe to make it happen for us, to return it to us. We just have to know where to look for it once it leaves that attachment from us. So, let's do it. Let's set that intention again. A word, a sentence, however you want to set it is how you can set it. And I will do the same. All right, so I've written mine. And again, if you hold this little slip of paper in your hand as you meditate, you're adding energy to it. And again, you're fueling that intention. You're fueling your desires, and you're fueling your skills as you go deeper into your own self, and you have that conversation with your deep self. Now, because you cannot hand me your slip of paper to burn into the flames when we're done, I'm going to write one that says everyone's intentions. And so as we meditate tonight, we will gather that energy into that one little proxy ticket. And then we will send that out as well so that all of us are represented when the bowl gets filled with flames and with our respective intentions. Now, if you're watching this on the recording, that's great. Your energy that you are intending on this little slip of paper, it gets added. So even if you're watching this, a year from now, that energy just keeps getting added into the universe and into that specific meditation, which is a unique experience each week. So I'm going to write those words, everyone's intentions. Also gather energy here. And if you just kind of agree to send me that energy as you meditate, you can just make that little arrangement with yourself and just allow that energy to flow to us so that we can gather it, so that our community can gather our community energy that even more bolsters our intentions. So we've set that intention. Let's give it a little more to go on. So we've stated what we intend, and now we draw a card from this beautiful deck. And what that does is it just gives us a little more creative perspective. So it just allows us to think about something maybe differently than we had last week, or think about something with a bigger or a more expanded point of view. Sometimes we get blocked. Sometimes we are in a situation that we can't see or we don't want to see, or we just haven't thought about changing a perspective. And so perhaps this card offers a word or has a beautiful design or art that speaks to you and that helps you gain a little more perspective about your intention. So I shuffle the cards and then we draw the top card. Because if I was with you in an individual reading, for instance, I would have you pick the card from this deck yourself. But this card's representing all of us that are here tonight. It's one card, but it uniquely is addressing all of our respective intentions. So I'm going to just draw the top card so that we agree that that's the one that we draw, and that's the one that represents all of us. So I will shuffle, and then we will find out even more information about how we might reach our intention. And again, we might draw the same card we had last week. That's happened. Even though there are, 75 cards in this deck, we might draw one we drew a couple of weeks ago. That's also happened. We might draw a brand new card. I mean, I like to draw the brand new ones. And it's one of the reasons why I really don't want to stop using this deck right now, because there's so many cards yet that I have not even explored myself, because I like the joy of getting that message with you. And if we haven't gotten the card before, then it's just as much of a interesting and curious surprise as it is when you look at it. So let's draw that top card. All right, so I've got the top card here. We're going to draw it. 1, 2, 3. Our card for tonight is we've had this card before. We've had it several times, actually. I shuffle the cards. I use them in the week. So I guarantee you these cards have been shuffled, but the card for tonight is third house. I'll put it down. You can see it more clearly. Communication. So you'll see it more clearly once we set it down. And then I'll read a little bit about it. Third house communication. So that's the theme. So just start thinking now while I set this up about how communication is one of the keys to bringing forth the intention that you yourself have set. Communication, that's the first part of this, right? There's the card, nice and clear for you to see. So it's these beautiful birds that are connecting together, and just look at it more clearly. I'm going to pull it up with me reading too, so you can look at it more closely there. And then we'll turn it on for you to see during the meditation. So as I read a little bit about this card, You can look at the card, see what means something to you about the card, see how it resonates and how it fits in about your intention. Now, you do not get to decide whether this card is reflective or speaks to your intention. It does, because that's the agreement. So your role then is to figure out how it goes with that intention, how it addresses it, how it gives you more information about it while I read about it. For one of several times, like as we did before when we drew this card. If your card were a village map, the third house would represent your local neighborhood, primary school, and corner pub. It symbolizes how you learn, communicate, and move around your familiar world based on your sibling-like relationships and the people in your local environment. Our action for this card: check the lines of communication and your thinking process. First, repair any technical glitches, loose wires, computer or phone problems. Then take this metaphor a step further and look at how your messages are sent and received. Make sure you understand what was intended in a letter or email you received. Ask other people what they heard you say in an exchange. When in doubt, ask for more information and repair any miscommunication. Then take this metaphor in-house and look within. Notice the quality of your thinking. Repair those glitches, stretch your mental muscles, and improve the quality of your communications. Now, what a great way to do that tonight while we are communicating with our deep self. You may need to learn new ways to express yourself to others, to hear your true intentions. Think about how you learned to communicate growing up through your relationships with siblings or sibling-like friends, your early school experiences. Investigate how those early relationships formed mental habits that affect the present moment. You may need to get out of your head and get a fresh perspective. That's what we're doing. Observe and test your assumptions. Check for confirmation bias, the tendency to believe anything that supports your opinions and reject new information that challenges your worldview. Read a spiritual text or ponder a metaphysical concept like communication from an oracle card, and let it stretch your mind. Check in with siblings and sibling-like friends. Look for any shadow of rivalry and see if you can switch to mutual encouragement where all win. It's up to you to reframe this dynamic. That's a key point. I'll talk about that in a second. Chatter is not the same as communication. Sibling or sibling-like rivalry can challenge you to grow in small doses, but don't let it distract you from self-direction. Stay on target. We are all siblings in the eye of spirit. Let that sink in. We are all connected in the eyes of spirit. We are all brothers and sisters in the eyes of spirit. Period. Whether we like each other or don't, whether we get along or don't, whether we love one another or don't, we are all connected. Not just in the eyes of spirit, we are all connected by our creator spirit. And if you're agnostic or atheist and don't believe that, there's an energy about being a human being that does connect us. It's undeniable. We all are born the same way. We all die. We all die. It's universal. Not one of us has gotten out of that yet. These are things that bind us. So they do connect us to a universal consciousness about life experience. Now, I just want to return to this idea of everybody winning. We want to switch our rivalry to see if we can encourage each other so that everyone wins. I think this is such an important topic. It's one that I lapse on, but I believe in with all of my heart. It is that any situation where we are in conflict has the opportunity for us so that everyone wins. Now, we are certainly living an experience in our world now where it doesn't really seem that way, and everybody is out to outpower each other, to grab a power that is greater and greater and greater, and control, and to win. We are, especially Western society, a very competitive race we are right now. But in if we start small, if we start realizing that everyone can win in our with our brothers and sisters and siblings, with our friends, with our spouses, with our children, we can begin to see that this just begins to spread out more and more and more. The more we connect with people, the more everyone can win, especially if you're a leader, if you're a manager, if you are a pastor, if you are in charge of a group of people. It's our job as leaders to ensure that everyone wins in this spiritual life. So that's something to carry with you, especially as you're thinking about how this is responding to your intention. Okay, so let us get comfortable. Make yourself a little nest. You can sit straight up. If you're sitting, you want to sit so that your back is aligned and strong and firm, and that you are very supported, from your tailbone all the way up, and you want to be comfortable. So you don't want to be stiff and rigid. You just want to relax, but you want that spine to be straight. If you are laying down, I suggest maybe lifting your knees to keep your back straight, to keep that lower back from arching and take some pressure off of it. And then just imagine it as that strong, steady spine that it is. We're going to take some breaths together. We're going to breathe. And we're just going to breathe naturally. I'm going to give us a breathing count, but you just breathe on your own, but inhale with intention, hold for a moment, exhale with intention, and then hold for another moment before we begin again. So we'll do this together, and then we'll close our eyes. And then as you breathe on your own, we're going to just have you become more and more relaxed and more receptive to what we are being instructed to do. And make it so that you can hear our music. All right. So let's start with the breath. Let's inhale and exhale. Inhale again with intention. Fill your whole body. One more deep breath. Inhale and hold and exhale. You can allow your eyes to flutter shut as the card comes up on the screen. You can look at it at any time just by opening your eyes. But for now, let's just breathe in and out. And with each breath, each time we exhale, we feel our body just become softer and softer. Let's imagine all of our physical body becoming like a softening stick of butter. So we feel from our toes as we work up through our feet and our legs, everything is just softening, softening. And as it does, it just begins to melt ever so slightly as it moves up through your hips and your waist and your stomach and your chest and up through your shoulders. It's all softening, just like that stick of butter. Softening and softening. through your arms and out through your hands. They're all just softening up. And now up through your neck, just softening as we breathe with intention. Breathing in and out. In and out. You're softening up through your chin and your lips and your nose and cheeks, just softening, softening, softening. And now if you've gotten to your eyes, if they are closed, imagine, if you can, them closing even more. So if you have them closed, imagine them softening up so that they close even more. You're not squeezing them tight, you're just allowing the weight of that softening to close them even more. And now you soften up through your forehead and crown. Find ourselves relaxed and our bodies are nice and soft and relaxed, we notice that there is no discomfort or pain because it's all just become released and softened. And now in this softened state, let us imagine that we're almost like a not quite fully melted blob of that butter. But without the shape. We have no attachment to the physical self as we know it. This blob, if you will, this nice little blob of butter is now actually our essence. You might think of it as clay or wet sand that can be shaped. As we imagine ourselves in this moldable shape, maybe your slime, like the kind you make with Elmer's glue, but you want it to be silly putty, something moldable and shapeable. And now bring somebody or a situation to mind that might have been diminished because there is a bit of unclear communication. A person or a situation where you would like some clarity to how you are communicating with one another. This is a safe space, so you don't have to choose anything that's triggering, but just a space in your life right now where something exists that you would like just a little deepening of that understanding, a little more communication. blob of our essence, because it is moldable and shapeable. I want you to imagine yourself dividing from that one shapeable blob of clay or slime or silly putty or sand, and imagine that you remain animating one of those blobs, and the situation or the person that you are seeking a deeper communication or understanding with is now the other blob. Neither of you has your current physical form, so there's nothing about the way you appear that triggers you. You just can feel that essence of that person, or the essence of the combined folks involved in the situation that you need to communicate with. If you were a manager, for instance, and your staff, they are the other part of this. You as one part. And really feel, because you can't see how the other presence looks, feel the essence of that presence as you yourself electively chose to separate from yourself and experience that other person or that situation as its own entity with agency. Just two shapeable balls or blobs of whatever material seems to work best for you in this meditation, experiencing one another. And as you really feel the essence of that other person or situation, you begin to stretch like a piece of elastic, like you're the Elastic Man from the Fantastic Four. You begin to stretch out toward one another. And as you do, and you begin to touch and connect, almost like taffy that was pulled is now being returned to the taffy. Only when you do, when you connect and begin to twist together, something new is created. Another new entity. With a spark of life that is from both of you. Now imagine that connective entity becoming something that you both are grateful for and appreciate. And now for the next few moments, in the stillness and on your own, I want you to have your communication with that other entity that you are now creating with in this space. And I want you to tap into your deep, deep self, your true self, your divine self. To share with you the wisdom, the insight that you need tonight. It's the reason you are here. Maybe it's insight about your communication partner or partners. Maybe your deep self is able to address this other entity in a way that you can't from the material world, that you haven't been able to, but is showing you a way to. This is all you now. Now that you're here in this space, now that you have electively decided to divide and become your communication partner, and you have access to your deep self, allow that communication to flow. It doesn't have to be in words, it can be in thoughts, but there's a message here for and from all of you. And when I say all of you, I mean you, because you are all of these. And maybe that third, maybe the entity that you're creating is giving you information about how it can best be created. You get the idea. So just go there now. Have that conversation. Have that communication. And then we'll come back after we share. You've received information. You've exchanged. You remain connected, blended through the creation that is of both of you. And you, as a unique presence, have an understanding of this situation in a way that your communication partner may not at this time. Which is why the description said it is your task to make the shift, to make this work. You have taken the time, you have made the time. You've gotten the information, which means you now have to be the one. And you do it with grace and respect. That is our role here. Once we know, we have to act. So in your mind's eye, imagine that clay or putty, or however you're choosing, taffy, I like that, separate with that third creation becoming its own, and your communication partner becoming its own, and you becoming your own, swirling and pulling, stretching, and you're each separate. And just in this spiritual space, let's just acknowledge that we are a community here. See if you can sense and feel those who have joined with us tonight or on the recording, and just greet them with love and with compassion and with empathy and understanding the thread that brings us together as our humanity. And now all of those entities can now come reaching back to you, like taffy reaching back to go into its original clump. Just stretch it back and then gather it up back into you, and just begin to squeeze it all together. We don't have shape, we don't have physical form. Makes it so much easier to know that we are just an entity. Nothing's hurting because there's nothing to hurt. Just bring yourself back. Imagine yourself just balling up like someone's rolling you together. You are your creation. You are your scene partner, your communication partner. You are your deep self, all rolled up into this ball. And now imagine that ball of moldable something begin to take shape on its own, forming that physical body that we occupy here on this earth plane. Just imagine it forming your body, shaping it as if someone is using an invisible hand to shape your human form. Only now that it's being shaped, it has no pain, it has no discomfort, it has no fatigue. It's energized yet relaxed. And as it begins to shape more and more and more, we become aware that we are breathing with intention. Breathing in, breathing out, until that body is nearly back. And to get it fully back, we're going to take our 3 deep breaths. We're going to inhale and exhale quickly. Inhale again and exhale. And one more breath, inhale and exhale quickly as you open your eyes and return to our space. Well, once I hit on the taffy image, I couldn't get it out of my head, so I just kept picturing myself as just a big, nice, striped taffy piece being pulled back together and molded. And we're not supposed to play with our food. That's what our parents used to say. But I still felt the taffy, and I still felt the pull and the shaping and the gentleness of it all, and the understanding that when I can pull myself apart and see my communication partner, I realize that that partner is a part of me. We're part of the same blob of energy or taffy or clay or whatever. That's we are all those things. I think it's pretty cool. So my candle went out. I'm going to find my little lighter, and let's light the flames so we can send them away. And if you just give me a second to do that, I can light my candle, and you can take a look at my beautiful stained glass window. While I go get my little Yes, here we have it. There we go. Because I don't want to, when I remember to burn them, I want to burn them. So I'm going to burn mine, then all of ours. And again, you can imagine yours being thrown into the fire. Here's mine first. And then I'm going to throw all of ours in pretty quickly so they can be on the same flame. Again, we are all the same. We're all part of the same entity. I'm going to throw it in here. Everyone's intentions, along with mine, as they burn together. You can get that sense. Maybe you thought of that fire and separating into the flame. The point is, we can take anything that is connected together, and we can imagine it separating clay, water. You can imagine the ocean pulling apart or becoming a lake or a river, and see and feel that connection. That's how we communicate, and then we can come back together and be that great entity that it is. So, hope that's what you saw. Hope that's what you felt. I'm so glad that you've been here to join us. And I'm going to say hello to my pals, Kathleen and Sue, on Zoom. And let's see if anybody has joined us on the other spaces, because I'm so glad that you're all participating. And again, if you've watched the recording, beautiful. And if not, you just done the live, then that's cool too. It's all cool. This is up to you guys. This is your meditation for you to do it the way that you find best to do it. And again, whatever you've gone through, if you've experienced this in some way, let me know. Let me know. Let us know as a community. That is our goal here, to make that known as a community, to make ourselves be able to share with one another what we're going through. So say hello, like and subscribe. I always forget this. This is why I'm not, an influencer, but like, subscribe, like this video on both YouTube and Facebook if you can, on both pages, Spiritual Spinster and Rob Banashak. Keep it going. Keep the momentum going. If I missed you tonight because, for whatever reason, I can't see you on Facebook or on YouTube, then please know that you're still part of the energy. Your energy's still here. I'm so grateful for you. And with that, I will bid you good night. Have a beautiful evening. We're finished with August. We're beginning September in a couple of days. It's a new energy, a new season. Go forth and communicate. And good night.